Hello, this is News Desk. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. Coming up this morning, fire ravages shops in Adum in Kumasi. We've got updates plus a conversation with the Ghana National Fire Service on our desk. Also, President John Dramani Mahama condemns recent killings of a military officer in the Upper East region.
I wish to take this opportunity to condemn the killing of a member of the Ghana Army recently in Bawku.
We've got more as Asante Hede Otumfo II is set to lead mediation talks. And a bit later, Black Stars face Chad in a 2026 World Cup qualifier. Are you ready for that? Meanwhile, on decks on ground, we'll take you to Nima, where poor sanitation remains a major concern for residents.
For the sanitation, we are the problem. Maybe you close from your work or what you are selling, I don't know. After you finish, maybe the rubbish that you gather around, inside of take it, you know where you have to take it to go and put it, but you will not take it, they will leave it there.
We've got these plus other stories on our desk. Please stay for details. Several shops have been touched in the central business district of Adum in Kumasi. The fire at the popular Blue Light Arena started around 6 a.m. today and spread rapidly as fire officers made attempts to contain the blaze. Most of the shops deal in mobile phones and accessories, jewelry and clothing as well. Now, let's go on Zoom and speak to my colleague Nana Adum for updates. Nana, what is the current situation there in Adum?
He's done with his inspection and he has to drive because we are being told that the president would be in very soon. Will be in the Ashanti region for the tree planted project at Nkaria. So he has to be at the airport to pick up the president. And when he is done with that, he drives with the president to Nkaria for the tree planting project. And then we are hoping that after that, His Excellency the President himself would come and see for himself. And also probably hear from the president and his team on the measures that are going to be put in place to curb the situation and ensure that it doesn't occur again. This time around, the regional minister is in with all of his security operatives from the Regional Coordinating Council. The National Security Operative is here to brief us.
It started around 5 a.m. thereabout. We arrived here around 5:15. The issue is the fire service, in fact, they did their best. The main problem is how to get access to where the fire started. You see, had that been a way through, they would have finished their work within 30 minutes. But the people were even disrupting them. Some were looting. We have to go and then be arresting some of them. And the military too came in and then they even helped us a lot. So now, the fire is towards the Roman Hill area, towards the phase 2 of the building. Yeah, so they are still working on it seriously. And still, the fire is still raging. And there are water in the tenders. But still, how to get to the main where the fire is our problem right now.
What's causing the access challenge?
The structures, these wooden structures that they built on the railway, that is the major problem that is even causing the fire. You can see when we went upstairs with the minister, still the fire was still raging and there's no access. You can see that there are waters in the tenders, but how to get to the main area is the problem. So we are still working on it. The military have come and they are bringing extra people to come and help us.
What's the way forward?
The way forward is we are bringing the ministers and this to clear all these things from here, so that the fire service will get access to them. We are bringing excavators, bulldozers to come and clear the road so that the fire tenders will get access to it.
What is the anticipated time that you think can help you or you need to quench this fire?
Brother, I think it can take about extra 3-4 hours. It can take about extra 3-4 hours because the tenders are here. Some are from Ejusu Airport, Mampong, And so we have about 11 of them here. But the problem, as I said, is the access. So as you ask, it will take about almost 4 or 5 hours before you can quench it off.
That is to say that it will continue to spread widely.
It is still continuing. It is still, I think you yourselves, you've seen it. It is still continuing towards the Roman Hill edge. But the fire tenders cannot go near the fire. They cannot go near the fire. That is the major problem here.
And the fact that you're unable to get into the inner perimeter shows that it is going to be very much severe. What are you going to do to make sure that your machines are able to get inside there so that you'll be able to quench the fire from the inner perimeter? We
are bringing in excavators from RCC. They are even coming. So if the excavators come, I think they can help about 60%. The excavator can help because they can enter into the fire and then clear the road for the fire service tender to enter.
That is to say that you'd break the walls to enter?
We will. Even if it's a house on the street, we will break the house and then the fire tenders should get the access to it.
Thank you very much. And that is the National Security operative who came in with the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amoakohene. Dr. Frank Amoakohene had indicated that looking at the gravity of the situation inside the blue light area, where it becomes very difficult for the fire tenders to enter, they have to break the walls to get into it. And you heard the National Security Operative himself say that looking at what they are seeing right now, they would have to break in and enter. And even if it is a house that is blocking them from having access.
Well, at least now we know that excavators are not only good for mining, they're going to be quite helpful. But in studio with me is ADO Alex Kinate. He's a member of the PR team for the Ghana National Fire Service. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm hoping that one day when I invite you to my studio, it will be because there's no fire. There's something else entirely different from fire.
Maybe I've won a lottery. So
Maybe. But at what time did the Adum incident come to your attention? When was it reported to you?
So we got a call at 6:05 a.m. this morning. And so, as we've always bemoaned the lack of, or the outdated nature of our fire tenders, the closest station which could have attended would have ideally have been Konfanochi or our metro station. Unfortunately, both fire tenders were out of commission. So we had to fall on our regional headquarters, Trapat. I forgot, quite a distance, about 20 minutes drive from the place. But our officers did well together in good time, within 10 minutes. So at 6:15, and I'm sure your reporters on the ground can verify that at 6:15, we got to the scene. Upon arrival, the crew realized that the fire was well alight and spreading, so they had to call for further reinforcements. As of now, we have over 5 fire tenders at the scene, drawn from our stations, from Tech, from Ejiso, from Shidiem, all there currently, including our turntable ladder that are on the scene. The unfortunate thing is accessibility for us, and so our officers are determined. We are trying to tackle the fire from different angles and to salvage as many shops and buildings as possible.
Accessibility to the building or accessibility to where the fire itself is on the building? And I ask because of heights, which is one of the concerns for the fire service, that if the height is a little further, then it's quite difficult to also fight.
Well, when the fire happens at the first go, we can't just dispatch the turntable ladder to the scene. We have to dispatch the next closest fire tender to go there based on assessments, recommend or call for the turntable ladder. So the turntable ladder that we even have right now can get up to 8 floors.
Okay.
Yes, so that wasn't really the problem, but being able to access the fire, because if you look at the videos, the buildings are closely situated together, making it so easy for the fire to spread. There's hardly any room between these buildings. Again, the building is, you can see a lot of wooden structures scattered all over the place, which is not the best.
It mimics the countermantle layout.
Sadly.
Okay.
So no access. No wonder the National Security Coordinator was saying that we need to even break through to be able to, that's how bad the situation is. Accessibility, being able to pass through, because mind you, the building is spreading. So we need more access to be able to even create space, isolate, and then make sure that the fire does not easily spread. As I talked to you, our new Chief Fire Officer, Madam Mausi Sapon, she's on her way to Kumasi,
right,
along with the Operations Commander. This should show the kind of prominence that as a service we are placing on this issue. and then we'll make sure that we are hoping and we are determined to make sure that before the close of day today, we should see a finality.
But as we speak, what is the current situation? What can the fire service report, particularly to this fire?
So the fire is still in progress. I can say the fire is still in progress. We are doing our best to contain it from from burning. I can say that it's quite contained. As just so that people are not panicked. It spread when it started initially, but due to the efforts of our men on the ground, it's been contained, and I can say that the spread has been contained to a certain extent.
So for the main challenge which you're highlighting would be accessibility to and in the video as well, we can see many people in your way as well. Apart from the human blockade, the structures that will allow the tenders to drive through to go and fight is the major concern. And you don't know whether or not the excavators for which they were just mentioning have arrived. And what role will the excavators play?
Well, the excavators, we're hoping, you realize that behind this story building, there are other built structures behind there, and it's aiding in the spread of the fire. So hopefully if the excavators get in, they'll be able to break through for us to be able to create a belt or to be able to cut off the fire from further spread. So such unauthorized structures like this do not help. They tend to cause more harm than good. Again, the part of the willingness on the part of these market owners to help us enforce our laws is a problem. When you want to prosecute someone for non-compliance, before you realize someone will call someone, they make the case a foolish case.
So let's stay on non-compliance and maybe expand on it a better. So the layout, structural layout, if the people are putting out these structures, does the National Fire Service have any role to play in terms of permits and how the layout should be? Do you play any role at all?
Yes. Before any building is built, you have to bring your drawing plans to the Ghana National Fire Service for a building permit. What would make inputs? But I realize after you make the inputs, people go, because you have the permit, sometimes you realize that people go contrary to the permits that have been allowed, which sometimes becomes a problem. Per our recommendations, we recommend that shops like this should have sprinklers, should have early fire detection systems. You realize that even with these shops, one major challenge for us is being able to get into these shops and identify the seat of fire. As I've always said, that people prioritize and are more scared of the thief than they are of the fires. So when it happens like that, they have so many, one shop can have about 10 padlocks. How would we be able to break through all these 10 padlocks before we're able to get through to the seat of fire? It becomes a problem. So we encourage people to try and find a fine balance between securing their shop from fires and securing their shops from thieves. It looks like they always secured from thieves much more than they do for the fires, which becomes a very unfortunate situation. Again, going back to our fire tenders being out of commission, you see, we've said it. His Excellency the President has assured us, when he was swearing in our new Chief Fire Officer, the Honorable Minister Muntaka Mubarak also assured us of new fire tenders. Our Chief Fire Officer, Madam Mausi, is also in line, making sure that per mandate should make sure that we get new fire tenders to help augment the efforts. But then people should know that it doesn't only fall within the purview of government to help fire service. I know it's debatable, but then you see, when it happens like that, you are the people who are affected. Why don't you come together and help? I would commend the people of Obuasi. Their fire tenders was out of commission for over 6 months. The people came together and then realized it was the engine that was faulty. They came together, put money together, and as I talk to you, the Obuasi tender is in commission. And just after it was in commission, the next day there was a fire at a hostel, and that tender helped out so well. So why can't other people, other areas replicate? I always bash the people at East Legon. Look at an affluent area like East Legon. There's no fire tender. Look at an affluent area like even where the fire is right now, Adum, where these are people who are business people. They could easily come together, chip in something, and have a standard fire tender even packed at the market to help them.
So as we speak now, apart from destruction to properties and the goods that are in there, we don't have any casualties.
We've had a few firefighter injuries, but nothing life-threatening.
So this layout, Adum, as I've known it, has always been like this. Has the National Fire Service predicted or preempted that should a fire, break out over there, it will be even more disastrous than this? And if so, have you attempted any form of education? Do you go there very often? Are the people surprised that this kind of fire has broken out?
I always, again, bemoan the fact that people have nonchalant attitude towards fires. You find our officers going to these places a lot to have education, but these people always tell you that they are busy selling. People hardly pay heed to what you have to say. As a service, we've been relentless. We still go ahead with our education. But again, that's the adage goes. You can force a camel to the water side, but you can't force it to drink. So we keep on mentioning it. Our officers keep doing risk assessments. We do assessments, and then we give recommendations. That's as far as we can go. We assess, give recommendations, and then hope that the assemblies who are responsible for these markets would implement it. But most of the time, we see a lack of will on the part of some of these assemblies who are supposed to help implement and then be able to make sure that our recommendations are implemented. So I believe it's a collaborative effort. We do our part. Ideally, for markets like this, every 5 years, there has to be an electrical audit. The assemblies would have to engage the services of qualified, certified electricians who would carry out electrical audits in these shops to make sure that because you realize that some of these shops were built just with, they will say they are selling maybe lights or something. It's just built to withstand the pressures of lights. But you realize that almost all these shops will have air conditions. Maybe the wiring was not meant to be able to handle the load of air conditioning for all these shops. But yet you find all these shops having air conditions, having fridges, people even cooking in there. So with a little spark of fire coming into contact with the gases, it can cause an explosion, thereby resulting in issues like this. You realize that it's spreading, but you realize that these are the shots you're seeing are shots of fires that have been doused, and gradually we'll get there.
Right. This brings me to the question of whether you're being able to ascertain the cause of fire as of now.
Well, from what we've gathered from people, they were saying there were some power fluctuations and then the fire started, meaning that it could be electrical. But that is just what the people were saying. We won't just take it like that. We are going to subject it to our investigation once the firefighting is done and then be able to confirm or ascertain whether truly that is the cause of the fire.
But surely we know that it started from one shop and then started to spread.
Yes, fires start from one,
yeah?
And then they spread.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it was at the top floor, and you see, there's always a difference between the time a fire starts and the time you call the fire service. So people, and then...
and the time the fire service would have access to fire tender for them to respond and get to the place.
Or maybe how close we are to the place. See, and I won't say you or multimedia journalists, but many journalists should try to go the extra mile. It's not PR for fire service, it's PR for all of us. If the people make noise that we called fire service, please ask them, what number did you call? People will mention Lotto numbers to you.
But do people know the number?
Yes, that numbers are written all over. You see,
all over where?
Ask someone the emergency line of police, they know.
Okay.
We keep on, every platform we can, we mention 112, 192. We mention these numbers. People do not. And you ask them and they mention Lotto numbers to you. But yet, those who mention the Lotto numbers are the ones who have the loudest mouth to say, I'm from Mwamba. And you ask them the number they called, and they don't know the number they called.
But it's quite concerning because apart from today's fire, some days ago, you'd recall there's a fire that broke in Laboni, thereabouts, Dongwa, where it told...
And then even just here at Kokomlimli, just around the Fidelity Bank, some compound house also got burnt.
What I would have thought that in December when we had this conversation exactly here, on this platform, you mentioned that the weather, people are also not paying attention to the electricals at home and all of that. But it's raining. Just this morning, it was raining when I was coming to work. I didn't think that fire should be breaking out.
So that should tell, okay, so yesterday it wasn't raining. It was
yes,
this
true.
morning. But then that should again, Uncle Lebo White asked me that which seasons do you cause fires a lot? And I explained to him that, you see, fires do not know seasons. Whether rainy or dry season, we still record fires. The only difference is that during dry season, the fire spreads much rapidly, as compared to the wet season, but we still record fires. So I believe we should still do more. It's unfortunate that a lot of these, like our tenders, you know, and we are really hoping and we are very thankful that at least Mr. President has acknowledged and noticed our constraint and has made even made mockery, and it was quite funny that, you know, and so we are happy as a service that at least he has recognized the challenge that we are facing. And I'm sure right now, when I read most of the comments online, at least now people are getting to understand and appreciate the fact that it is not our fault as fire service that sometimes these issues get out of hand because we are logistically constrained. I'm sure, you know, your cameras have, like the last 10 years, your cameras have been changed.
Oh, yes, always. You actually look more handsome on screen than the last time because we've got new ones.
You know, so imagine fire service having our fire tenders not changed for over 13, 14 years.
So tell me, which one is the most pressing need that we must address? Lack of fire, that the National Fire Service is under-resourced, or generally our behavior towards fire in this country is low as a people? And you have to just choose one. I'm not saying the two of them cannot coexist in this question. Which one is the most pressing need?
I wish I could be Oliver Twist, but I would say when we are resourced. You see, when we are resourced and people are not even adhering, our response time will be much shorter and we'll be able to tackle issues at the incipient stages before it gets out of hand. It's very unfortunate to note that a lot of stations do not even have pickups for fire education. When it comes to education to go to areas, maybe someone within the safety team will say, okay, we can go with my car. Then they will do susu, buy fuel in the person's car and go and do education. As if it's a person's private job, but it's for the betterment of people. So we need pickups in stations so that the safety teams are able to use these pickups to reach hard-to-reach areas to be able to talk to them about fires. We need fire tenders. You know, we need fire tenders that have dual capacity to carry both foam and then water, so that when we get to a scene and realize the fire has to do with oil, has to do with gas, and we need foam, we're able to just easily dispense most of them at the same time. We need recovery trucks. You know, as part of our mandates, apart from fires, we carry out rescue duties. Accidents happen. So when it happens, when there's an accident, sometimes you have to wait on the Road Safety Services Management Limited or the Ghana Police to come with the recovery trucks. Sometimes being able to recover these vehicles on time can save lives. So we need recovery trucks. We need turntable ladders. It's unfortunate that the whole of Ashanti region, the whole of Accra, the whole of Tema, we have just one turntable ladder for each region.
What's the turntable ladder, though?
Okay, so that's the appliance with the extendable ladder on top.
So that if you are at the 12th building, whatever, you can still...
just get it up there.
Okay.
Kumasi has one, Accra has one, Tema has one, I think Cape Coast has one, Northern Region has one. I don't know about the other regions. So we need a lot of turntable ladders. Looking at the fact that...
So the issue of water there looks like it doesn't come up in, but now you constantly have water. No,
water is also very, 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 is a challenge. We know the menace of Galamsey has proven difficult for even, I'm sure when you open your tap at home, you don't always find water flowing through your taps. That's because if there's no water flowing through your tap, it means that the hydrants might not even have water flowing through the hydrants. And these are what we use to replenish after we fight fire.
Okay.
So we need a lot of, we need water. And I can tell you that there might not be any working hydrants within this market. Our people would have to travel a long distance to just go and get water and come back. And the fire will not be waiting. The fire will be spreading. So the assemblies and even the people within the areas should take it upon themselves that it's important that we protect the hydrants so that in case of emergencies, fire services and further access to water to be able to fight and deal with it.
So do we have the cause of fire for the most recent ones until today? Yesterday you mentioned it was a compound house, but the one in Tishi...
It involved a fuel station.
Okay.
Yes, and so what we've gathered from people, which we are still subjecting to investigation, indicates that, unlike every standard filling station, there's supposed to be a fuel tanker that comes to disperse fuel. But in this case, this was a Gao people, so they had fuel in gallons and in a car. And from what we gathered, the car was also not a fuel car, but a gas car. a car powered by gas.
That's plenty happening.
Yes.
Okay.
So while they were dispensing the fuel, then the car caught fire, spreading to the filling station's office, a barbering shop, a provision shop, and then a drinking bar close by. There was a school opposite. There were other chains of stores. So our priority was to cut the fire from affecting the school, because the school even has kids in there. It could have affected the kids. There are other shops there. So yes, obviously when there's fire, there's an extent of damage. But our priority is to mitigate the extent of the
So finally, back to the fire that's happening in Adum currently. If you say that it's been contained, it means that what? Now, in plain English, it's happening at a particular time. It's not traveling anymore, or what?
Yes, so I would say that I won't emphatically say that it's not traveling anymore. I would say that the speed at which it was traveling has been curtailed.
Okay.
The speed at which the fire was traveling has been curtailed.
And from experience, you think that it would be finally contained by how many hours or how many minutes? Because it's happening live. If you went onto our social media pages, you see that we're streaming it live, and you see us, the fire service, is trying to contain the fire. You estimate how many hours?
Well, because I'm not there to personally assess, and per experience, give or take, before the close of the day, I want to be careful.
Right.
I'm sure our officers work so hard so that it doesn't...
You want to under-promise and over-deliver. Okay.
You know, looking at the fact that our chief fire officer herself is, I'm sure within a few hours' time, she'll be in Kumasi herself. She'll take operational command. Contrary to people questioning her capability as a woman, you know,
I've done some few investigations about her, and I'm told that in terms of safety, she is the toppest that she can have. Yeah.
She was a regional commander in Volta region, and at a time, she had to even travel all the way to Aflao and even Togo to go and, you know, command and then make sure that fire situation...
I, on behalf of women in this country, don't doubt her capacity at all.
And you know, she drives a fire tender.
Look at that. Of course she should.
She drives a fire tender, so she's a mega woman. So with her there, going to the scene, trust me, I'm sure...
Your call will be a good time for me to want to go for a break. And Edio One Alex Kinata, thank you for joining us and bringing us updates. You're watching News Desk. Go for a quick break. When we come back, there's more. Please stay. Welcome back to News Desk. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has condemned the recent killing of a military officer in Bawku in the Yepa East region. Addressing the people of the region in Boligatanga on a thank you tour, the president said the members of the Ghana Armed Forces were there to keep the peace of the area and described the killing of the soldier as unacceptable. He also condemned the brutalities meted out to civilians by the military in response to the killing of their colleague.
I wish to take this opportunity to condemn the killing of a member of the Ghana Army recently in Bawku. The members of the Ghana Armed Forces in the conflict zone are peacekeepers who have been sent there to protect life, limb, and property. It is unacceptable for them to become targets of a conflict to which they are not a party to. I, in the same vein, wish to condemn the high-handed response of our men in uniform, which resulted in assaults and injury of many innocent civilians. I can understand the righteous anger at the loss of a colleague serviceman, but we must exercise restraint and use effective intelligence gathering to identify and bring the culprits to book. I wish on this occasion to extend my condolence to the family of the deceased soldier, and at the same time to extend my sympathies to all those who were assaulted or injured in the military counteraction. The progress of our nation depends on the shared effort of all its people towards a common purpose and a collective vision for prosperity.
President John Mahama is also asking feuding factions to cooperate with Asante-Hene Otumfuo II, who is currently mediating the peace process.
What future do we promise our children if they inherit walls of mistrust instead of bridges of hope? A nation divided by past wounds cannot march forward into the promise of tomorrow. We must commit to living above the slights and injuries of yesterday if we will seize the opportunities and promises of tomorrow. Peace can and peace must reign in Bawku and surrounding areas. I called His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II yesterday to thank him for the commencement of his mediation efforts to find a peaceful resolution of the conflict in Bawku. It is my hope that all parties to the conflict who took part in the mediation process in Mechia last week will consider the proposals with an open mind and return in good faith to the negotiations when they resume in 2 weeks' time.
Let's do some football now. Black Stars head coach Otto Addo is assuring Ghanaians that his team is ready and prepared to win against Chad in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers later today. The Black Stars could go to top of Group 1 with a win. Otto Addo spoke when Parliament's Youth and Sports Committee paid the senior national team a visit.
We're really happy for that. This is the support everyone to feel in a good environment, to give their best and then to win. And I'm very sure that we don't disappoint you. And we've been doing well in the training. They prepared well. I'm very happy to have the squads here. The way they train, the way they move together, they stick together, the way they discuss things now. And yeah, I'm really positive about tomorrow. Thank you once again. Like I said, we don't take it for granted, Sports Minister, that you come in every day to support us, to watch us. Thank you very much, the members of Parliament, and we'll meet in future and we'll make you proud.
We can now hear from Chairman and Ranking Member on Parliament's Youth and Sports Committee, Ns Nogbe and Ekosifwa, respectively.
We are happy to be here first and foremost, and to add my voice to the Chairman to congratulate you on your nomination to be part of this team. My words will be very few. If it is about money, I know that most of you won't be here. But I know that it is the love for your country, the patriotism aspect of raising the flag of Ghana high. It is on that basis that most of you are here. I can only plead and urge you that as professionals, concentration is very key, especially for that 90 minutes. If we lose just 2 minutes or even a minute of concentration, we may have a problem.
You will see the 39 million Ghanaians in the stadium, the 278 MPs, 278 constituencies. Members of those constituencies will be at the stadium to cheer you. We know Ghana is a football-loving country, and we are all yearning to go to US, Mexico, and then Canada next year. We want to play the final in US, yes, which we are very much hopeful. Yes, we are playing finals in the US. So we are here in the name of Ghana. We are here in the name of our constituents and the constituencies to motivate you and say that we are behind you solidly. Put everything behind. Teamwork is most critical thing. And if Ghana is behind you, the spirit of the nation is behind you, I'm not sure you will falter on this pitch. And I know by the end of the day, on tomorrow, by the end of the day, you will come victorious.
I'll now take you to the Accra Sports Stadium, where Muftal Nabela is on standby to bring us update and preparation. Muftal, what's happening in the Accra Sports Stadium or the Accra Sports Stadium currently?
Well, currently they are putting final touches at the Accra Sports Stadium ahead of the game that is kicking up at 7 p.m. later today. Right behind me, as you can see, just a few meters away from me, some workers are currently there to ensure that the place is in the right shape to host the game. The playing surface is quite pristine. This is a facility over the years. People have raised questions about the pitch. But what I'm currently saying, what Otto Addo himself has seen and spoken about clearly suggests that the National Sports Authority has done some incredible job to put the pitch in a very good shape. One thing that caught my attention, just right behind me here, I can see some notable tourist attraction centers in the country. First is the Independence Square Arc, then followed by the Larabanga Mosque. The Larabanga Mosque is just right behind me here. There's also the Cape Coast Castle, and there is a flag in the middle, just around where the scoreboard is. It has the picture of the president in the middle, surrounded by the footballers. And there's some interesting aspect of it. There's the National Sports Authority logo in there. There is Cocoa Board, and there's the Driver's Licensing Authority. So my interest picked to ask the question, why Cocoa Board and National Driver's and Licensing Authority? Could it be a partnership that they have with the Ghana Football Association, and that maybe some money is coming in? Because in a FIFA-sanctioned competitions like this, you must have some kind of relationship with a member federation of FIFA before you are allowed to have your banner there. And also, just a few meters away from that is a banner of the National Tourism Authority. Then there is one here which has is this Visit Ghana, Bawku National Forest. So these are some of the interesting things that I've seen. But if you see the paneling as well, clearly suggests that maybe there's some good money here that the Black Stars has been able to attract from corporate Ghana. So I can clearly tell you that the Accra Sports Stadium is in shape. The branding, the pitch paneling, everything has been done. Awaiting kickoff, that will happen at 7 p.m. tonight.
That looks good. Now, beyond the walls, outside of it, is there any momentum gathering?
Yes, just outside the stadium, especially where the tickets are often sold, people are there selling paraphernalia. So clearly, the business community has gotten excited about the fact that the Black Stars is in action later today, and it gives them an opportunity to also make something. There are also caterers who have been given opportunity to set up outside the stadium and even inside the stadium so they can sell food to fans who will be here to throw their weight behind the senior national team. Because the kickoff of the game is about 7 p.m., many people are actually not around the stadium yet. Mostly it is the security and those who are selling their paraphernalia and the caterers who are currently here, and media men who are also here to pick their accreditation sacks. So the atmosphere outside is not that huge yet. Hopefully, by 4 5 p.m., when we are back here, we have a very clear picture about the numbers that are likely to patronize this game. The last game against Niger, many people were here, and you can clearly tell that the stadium was basically empty. This is a facility that's about 40,000 spectators. They are going to sell a little over 30,000 of those tickets, but we can only have a clear picture of how many people are going to grace this game latest by 5 6 p.m.
But what does this game really mean to the Black Stars themselves?
It's a massive game. This is a game, first of all, to redeem themselves following their failure to win a single game during the African Cup of Nations qualifiers 2025. And this serves as an opportunity for them to win the game and bring back the support. As you heard the president mention just a few days ago, Ghanaians haven't given up on them. They are only disappointed about the fact that they've not been able to win a single game in the last 8 or 9 months. So for them to be able to win the trust of Ghanaians, for them to be able to get Ghanaians to throw their weight behind them, it is important that they win this game. And guess what? That team that the Black Stars shares the group, the top of the table with Madagascar, won their game just a few days ago. So clearly, if the Black Stars wants to enhance their chances of staying in the race to qualify to the FIFA World Cup, they must win this game later tonight.
Muta, but what is the mood like in the camp? I mean, Jordan is the captain. He's leading the pack today. What's the mood like?
I recall just a few days ago when Joy Sports, or a few weeks ago when Joy Sports reported that Jordan Ayew was going to be the captain of the Black Stars. Many people had concerns, and there was even some level of uncertainty. But as usual, when Joy Sports reports, they are factual. One of the things I can say with all certainty is the fact that Jordan Ayew is seen as a perfect person to lead this group. His conversations with the boys so far has been quite great. Every leader has got his approach. And I think that what many people have actually told me about the kind of leadership Jordan Ayew is bringing to the team is to bridge the gap of communication that exists in this team. It will interest you to know that many of these footballers, despite playing in the same team, have gone over a year or two without speaking to each other. That is a gap Jordan Ayew is trying to bridge and ensure that there's some level of chemistry within the group that will raise the atmosphere for them to come together collectively as a unit and compete and represent the country. So far, what I personally witnessed is the fact that there's a certain level of excitement within the group and some level of optimism so that they can come out here, win, and redeem themselves so that Ghanaians will throw their weight behind them to ensure they qualify to the World Cup. Many people often say that qualifying to the World Cup should be a national agenda because the massive opportunities that it will create for many of us who want to go to Canada, USA, and Mexico is one of a kind.
But Mufta, let's talk about Chad. Chad as a team, is this some team we should be afraid of?
Usually, if you take a look at the Chad team, in the last couple of years, they haven't been up there. But we also Comoros. Comoros were never up there, but they've beaten Ghana back to back. Niger were never up there. They came here on November 18, 2024, if my memory is right. They defeated Ghana by 2-1. So this kind of results actually gives opponents confidence that when we are coming up against the Black Stars of Ghana, we equally stand a chance.
Right.
But I'm not too convinced about the kind of performance so far witnessed by many of us who have followed the Chad team. And I think that the Black Stars are in a better place to be able to win. However, as the president said, before you sit down to watch, make sure you eat because anything can happen in a game of football.
Well, I definitely will eat. You won't eat because you're fasting, but I and the team over here will definitely eat and then wait for that. But finally, before I let you go, Mufta, so the constitution of the team, though, have we had any challenges of who was supposed to be on the bill and who is not supposed to be there and they're there?
No, currently nothing of that sort. All the players who have been called up are in camp, awaiting kickoff. That will be happening later tonight. The decision of Otuado on who plays and who sits on the bench, that is yet to come. I'm sure most definitely by 11 to noon, we should have an idea about who are likely to play because usually they will have their breakfast around that time. And that is where mostly the team news is often communicated to the players. So I'm sure by that time, if we have our ears in camp, we should be able to get something about who is going to do what during the game later tonight.
Well, what's your prediction?
Maybe 5-0 for Ghana. I remember the last time Ghana went all the way up to Chad. We went and gave them a very good hiding. So I'm hoping that today too will be a very good hiding. I can see the surprise.
Of course. You say 1-0, but you said I will go 5-0. Well,
about 5 will be a very good outcome.
But so that will make up for all the losses. I think I agree with you, and I'm with you with that.
It cannot make up for all the losses. Failure to qualify for the AFCON is a crime that has been committed against Ghanaians.
Right.
Because for a little over 2 decades, Ghana consistently participated at the African Cup, made it to the semi-final. In fact, semi-final was always a given whenever Ghana participated. And to the last 5-6 years, when the team has crashed out at the group stages of the competition. So failure to qualify is actually sacrilegious. And a win today cannot atone for the sins of the team of failing to qualify to the African Cup of Nations. They just need to win and bring back the support of many Ghanaians so that they can give them that support to help them qualify to the FIFA World Cup in USA, Mexico, and then Canada.
Well, I was hoping that maybe the 10% tax would have gone on a bet. But, well, thank you so much, Mufta, for bringing us a report from the Accra Sports Stadium. Now, moving on, today on Desk, on the ground, we take you to Nima, where poor sanitation remains a major concern for residents. They want governments to implement effective measures to improve sanitation in the area. Residents shared their concerns with Esther Nkrumah.
Nima is one of Accra's most vibrant but yet challenged communities, known for its bustling streets, small businesses and community sense. It is also home to many young people striving to make a better future for themselves and their community. However, like many Zongo communities, Nima faces serious challenges such as poor sanitation, overcrowded housing, and limited access to basic services. Today on Decks and Ground, we're here at Nima to interact with some of its residents to know their struggles and the expectations they have of the government. As a young person living here in Nima, what is the major challenge that you face?
The challenge is about the sanitation. We are the problem. Like sometimes you know that something like maybe you close from your work or what you are selling, I don't know. After you finish, maybe the rubbish that you gather around, inside of take it, you know where you have to take it to go and put it, but you will not take it. They will leave it there, thinking that maybe in the money the Zoom Lion trucks will come and take it. But sometimes not like that. It will be there. Sometimes when the rain comes, when the rain to clear it, it is taking it to the gutter. But that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. You have to do the right thing and make it easy for everybody.
Usually you see that a lot of political parties, they come here to campaign during election periods. They make a lot of promises, nice promises, to entice you to vote for them. But after they win the elections, do they come back to do the things that they've promised?
The promises some of them are making, they are fulfilling it. Some of them too are disappointing. From Nima roundabout to Accra Gas, we don't have fire service tender. And if you look at the population from here to Accra Gas, it's more than many constituencies population, but we don't have fire tender. So if some fire catch in these two constituencies, unless we rush to police or police headquarters, you know that there were fire service headquarters there before they will come. If not, they reach here, it's too late. So they have to try to get some fire tender station for us, temporary, either roundabout or Accra Gas. It's for Nima and Mamobi constituency. If some fire catch some place, they can rush and quench the fire.
So what changes are you looking to see with this new administration? I know the past administration made a lot of promises, and this administration has also made a lot of promises. What changes are you looking to see? What are your expectations?
But actually, the development we need here right now is how to develop the road for us, because there is no any place where you develop some infrastructure. All the places belongs to somebody. Our problem is our gutters and the road, according to my concern, and sanitation in the constituency and the sanitation. How you see from Nima roundabout to here, there is no actually boiler tank. Put some place where somebody can carry boiler and go, unless gutter. Mom will be gutter. So it is also a problem. So the day the Zombie Lion car did not pass here and pick, you see that the boiler will be here.
So how is sanitation in Nima? We know that there's a case where open defecation is a big problem here and cholera is on the rise. How is it affecting you people here?
Sanitation in Nima is a problem by just a population soon. Nima, ya dosu. Kama ya schedule ya kono. Junkers Nima anajo omo ko private toilets. Omo ni go rubber mu no mo aja to. Anopa bia ye ba ye betu toilet wa ha. Afin su boiler omo ko inside ko gigi boiler e wo mo amo schedule apon wie no mo akogi boiler no omo agisika omo giwi a ye ni ho no mo dia betu ha. Enti tama ye ya be schedule wi ya pra ha coffee no ye be ba no na boiler si ya maye yetimi hippie boiler maye sama etimi yeti se mountain na ye de enim omo ko rounds e ko gigi ne ya tue omo ka mutimi hye ne sack no mo dia begu ha ma enti anytime bia ye be ba bia no na boiler hippie e wa ha na toilet nso fra enti e wo se ye yi obi e maye na aban yi obi na omo monitor sa junkers no se de be ya ma omo fa boiler mfiri baby mbetu ha
na wo pese won ni ma say
development ya me here ni say ye kwan no in fact ni so to dey say ye bre ti ye kwan nye na ye market bebre ya ye shejo kwan so no ye do so see inside market na wa inside no enti dia ye na ba say sre no o me hwe ye kwan no me hwe ye market mai Ne nyina yen to be free ekwan no so. Akwa isad. Na ekwan da ho fefefe my drivers no.
We've been speaking to some residents here at Nima on the challenges that they face living in this community. And one of the major challenges is sanitation. And they are also calling for more fire tenders as they don't have any fire tender in this area. Another issue is the market. They say the market is so small, so lots of the market women have to sell by the roadside. And they are calling on government to expand the markets for them as well. From Nima here in Accra, my name is Esther Esi Nkrumah for Joy News.
Esther Esi Nkrumah there with Desk on Ground. And that will wrap for today on Desk on Joy News. I'm MFA Akosia Adeti. There's more news if you do log on to myjoyonline.com. I'll see you at 12 with news today.